The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and Your Sports Network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Hello, everybody. Welcome inside a Friday episode of Running Point on YSNLive.com. As always, brought to you by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. They go the extra mile for you. We try to do the same here on this show every day and on YSN. Talk about going the extra mile. We're joined a few miles away, from Ty Martell all the way in Myrtle Beach. Ty, you've wrapped up a great week of coverage. Today's games, unfortunately, were axed due to a little bit of weather in the morning. But you're on. First of all, what has the week been like? This is your first experience down there in Myrtle. I know DJ's made the trip a couple of years in a row, but your first chance to get down there. How have you enjoyed the experience being in Myrtle, being with these teams, and obviously taking in some R&R as well?
Oh, I mean, it's been awesome, man. And honestly, we've had some great weather. Perfect, honestly, as far as temperature is concerned in the morning. Hasn't been too many clouds in the sky. And DJ and I were kind of talking last night. Weather up here, or weather down here, rather, is not treated the same as weather up north. A little bit of rain kind of deters games for the entire day, where if we had the same case up north, we would still probably be playing these 11 and 12 o'clock games. But nonetheless, games got canceled. Games got canceled today, and all around, it's been a great week for the teams from Ohio and our YSN teams down here. Great record overall against the teams from all around the country, and I mean, showing once again that Northeast Ohio baseball and softball is still pretty strong on the national level.
The one game happening down in Myrtle right now for our YSN school, South Range baseball, is still playing. That game started at 11 a.m., so they were still able to go.
What a comeback they had, too.
I know. We were talking about, it's an hour and 10 minutes away from the softball team. So just because the softball teams aren't playing doesn't mean that the weather is exactly the same an hour and 10 minutes away. So that's why you see that. The rest of our baseball teams are finished down in Myrtle. They all concluded their weekends, or I should say their weeks yesterday. So South Range baseball, the only YSN team down there playing today, they were in action against, I'm always botching these high schools' names because I'm not used to them. It's Walsingham Academy is who South Range is playing right now in Myrtle Beach, about an hour and 10 minutes away from where you are, I'm assuming. Yeah,
that's where I was at when Fitch baseball was going on the other night too, down in Waccamaw High School too. It's in Myrtle Beach where the softball teams were playing in North Myrtle Beach, and it's actually about an hour away from each other too, the baseball and softball teams. But nonetheless, able to see some Fitch baseball, able to see a lot of Fitch softball while down here, and a little bit of other of these other teams down here as well. And it's been a great week all the way around.
Let's talk about this Fitch softball team, Ty. You might not know it from the scores, but they're playing really good teams in Myrtle Beach. I mean, this is not just a whoever wants to come can come. This is an invitational only type event. And they've made these teams kind of look a little bit silly, to be honest. These scores that are coming in from Fitch softball, only one game was you would consider close. What have you seen from the Falcons that has made them so impressive here in Myrtle Beach?
Me and Anna, it's what they've been doing for the entire season now through 10 games. You want to talk about a team that scored 95 runs to giving up just one on the season. They're averaging 9.5 runs a game. They're averaging giving up a tenth of a run a game. And these are quality opponents that they've played all season long. The thing with this Falcon team, and I've credited it to the entire team for the work that they put into the offseason, for the coaching staff, for all the players. This is a lineup now, and 1 through 9 that there's no breaks in it. There's 8 players now batting over 300, 5 players batting over 400 currently in the lineup. I mean, we're talking about girls like Abby Toth and Tina Montgomery that are batting 7 and 8 right now in this lineup. And these are quality bats that in a lot of lineups, you'd see an Abby Toth batting cleanup. You'd see her batting in the 4-5. Well, Tina Montgomery is a solid 2-hole hitter, solid 6-hole hitter as well for most lineups too. And you know a little bit about her too. And it's this lineup 1 through 9 that is able to put up so many runs. And then Sid in the circle. Another perfect game to her resume. She has 9 shutouts on the season. We know what she's able to do. And the improvement she's made from freshman year to now, she just looks so much more comfortable in the circle. Last year, she was having fun. This year, it seems like she's on a mission, and she's executing it to the highest level right now.
You know, funny story about Abby Toth batting 7th. I did one pitch game this year, was at Boardman, and you set up at Boardman for Ysn right next to the Boardman dugout, right? So Abby Toth comes up, and she hits like a triple her first at bat. And I look over, and I see Fred Moots, and he goes, what if we had a 7-hitter like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, coaches are jealous that Fitch has a 7-hitter that would, like you said, would be in most teams' cleanup spot. The way she's hitting, it's just ridiculous how strong this lineup is. I also want to give some flowers to McKenna Hogan. Probably didn't hit the way she wanted to last year, but man, she's off to an amazing start at the plate. I think I'm still batting over 500 as an average, well over 500 last I saw. What a start to the season she's having, not just behind the plate, which everyone expects, but revamping her bat this year.
Leading, tied for the lead in doubles for the team right now too at 6 doubles. I mean, she produces a lot of runs, and the thing is, she puts the ball in play a ton right now, and that's what's really been benefiting to her strong start of the season. I think she was batting in the 470s after I checked through the Myrtle Beach trip, which again is another one of those bats in the 400 range. She's been batting solidly in that cleanup hole, and it's been huge for this lineup too because she's been producing those big time hits when the team needs it, and when the middle of the order doesn't get the job done, the bottom of the order does. I mean, it's a team effort where they can pick each other up all throughout the order. And like I said, Ant, there's really no breaks. And then you got these freshman girls like Morgan Roby, Rachel Spalding, Samantha Hines, these Lily Stevens, Madison Haney too, sophomore. These younger girls that have all come out, they've gotten hits throughout this week too. So it's like the Falcons are way deep as far as the talent level goes. And that's the thing I talked with Coach Ward about. It must be a pretty nice problem to have when you could have literally anyone you could just call the name on and know that they're going to give you a quality at bat and that there's a pretty good chance that they're going to come up with a hit.
Fitch will come back home on Tuesday and then play Riverside in their next matchup. Ty, I know you had fun. Thank you so much for the coverage. I know you have a good day planned here in Myrtle Beach. Can't wait to see you back on the air in the area on Tuesday as Fitch takes on Riverside. You're also going to be doing Hope and baseball on Monday. So enjoy your last day in Myrtle Beach, and we can't wait to get you back here in our area talking about area softball and baseball.
No doubt, Anthony. I'm going to be excited for it, and I look forward to making some future trips to your softball baseball roundup show Sundays as well too. So I know I haven't come in and checked that one out yet with you guys, but I definitely intend to make some future appearances with that for you guys.
Doors wide open, Ty. Thanks for coming on.
No doubt, Ant.
Ty Bartell, one of the founding members of this era of Running Point, joined us. And now we're going to be joined by the head coach of Jackson Milton Baseball, Mr. Matt Ruby. Coach, thank you so much for coming on and being with us today on Running Point.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me.
All right, so this is our first chance to catch up with you this year. So even though we're several games into the season, I still want you to be able to first and foremost introduce your team and go through your roster and all the players that are contributing so well so far this season to Jackson Milton Baseball.
Well, starting with my pitching staff, I've got senior Billy Sloan who signed his letter of intent in February. He's going to go down to Montevallo State, a D2 school in Alabama, and continue baseball. I got another senior, Aaron Romai. Both guys throw hard. They're very competitive. They both had a lot of success since their sophomore year. You know, these guys would be four-year players, but they were the COVID year guys. And then I got another sophomore. That's actually Billy Sloan's little brother, Drew Sloan. He's a low to mid 80s guy. He's figuring it out. He's very competitive, and he gives us a chance. I'm not afraid to throw him in league games. Kind of use him as a starter and a closer in the league. Second base, I got junior Caden Mitchell, who's a 2-year starter. Third base, I got sophomore Jaden Henry, who started every game at third base last year. Left field, I got senior Aiden Pugh. Center field, I got sophomore Don Kroll, who started every game as a freshman in center field. At right field, I got Owen McDevitt. Owen's a guy that he's like a spark plug. He's my leadoff guy. He's my guy that goes in the middle infield and plays shortstop when Billy pitches. He's a great teammate. He's very competitive. Last 2 years he went to state for wrestling, so he's that kind of player. Behind the plate, I'm actually starting a freshman. He's holding his own. He's doing very good. He's getting timely hits. He's got a couple RBIs on the year in league games, getting some big hits, keeping the ball in front of him. But utility wise, I got junior Alex Fortuna, who could play anywhere on the field except for first base. I'm pretty deep as far as the lineup goes. I did have a sophomore transfer from Ravenna, who I think I just lost for the year on a base running. His knee gave out on him, and I think he's going to have season-ending surgery. But the program's doing good. 25 guys again, another JV team for 3 straight years. They're actually playing an 18-game schedule this year. I kind of lost the mic here, bud.
Oh, sorry, I muted myself.
You're
But
good.
we're all good. So what I wanted to know is, when talking about that roster, you bring up a lot of experience that you guys have. A lot of players that have been playing, a lot of players that even sophomores that have played their entire freshman year. How much have you leaned on that experience throughout this season and leaned on those players that have been there and done that through a long baseball season?
Oh, an absolute lot. I mean, it all starts back when we start our lifting and our off-season hitting in November. I mean, these guys know what to expect, how practices are ran. I mean, it's nice every day. When we practice outside, I get to the field and they set the field up. I mean, they know when practice starts at 3:00, they're on the pole at 2:55, ready to run their poles. I mean, it's a great team to have. I mean, this group I've had, they've gone deep in the playoffs the last 2 years. We just can't get over that hump. But I mean, we're close. We are, and they know that. They just got to keep playing.
You brought up you're starting a freshman catcher, and you have a couple of senior pitchers on the mound. What's it been like seeing the dynamic between those two and having a freshman that's able to step right into that role and to be able to work with seniors who are a lot older than him, not be intimidated by that moment, and to be able to really lead this team, because catchers have to be leaders. So what's it been like to see a freshman step up like that and be a great battery mate to 2 senior pitchers?
With him only being a young 15, he's earned the respect from those guys. I mean, he's not afraid to get down and block a ball. He's been hit by pitches, I think, 4 times this year already. I mean, he's a tough kid, and he earned their respect. So I think that's big for him. We told him, me and my other coaches, we told him, like, listen, we don't expect a lot of you offensively. We just want you to be able to handle the pitchers.
When you think of so far how this season has gone, we're catching you about 10 games in, somewhere around there.
Yes.
You're 6-3 right now. Obviously, you split with McDonald, which was a big kind of way to bounce back from losing the first game, being able to go to McDonald and split with them in the MVAC. Those 2 teams were tied for first going into that series. So talk about what you've seen from your team so far about 9 or 10 games in.
Well, like the determination. We've gotten ourselves into some big leads, and we kind of, I don't know, maybe kind of hit the brakes a little bit, kind of coasted through the middle part of the game, and allow the team to get a run here, 2 runs there. Next thing you know, it's going to be a close game. But it's like they just got that internal switch. They know, hey, like, we got to go. And when we went back to that league game against Monday, I mean, yeah, I've known Carson Clace ever since he was 11 years old with travel baseball. My son actually grew up playing with him, and he's a good pitcher. It was a great pitcher's game, and I threw Aaron. Aaron threw very well. We just did not make the timely plays behind him. You know, when you're playing good teams, you can't have that kind of mishap defensively. Um, but I like the overall makeup of this team. It's got good character. They all get along with each other. They're the first one to pick each other up. It's a very good dynamic we have.
Let's talk about this week coming up. Obviously, you're going to play a couple more non-league games over the weekend with tonight and tomorrow. Then you have Lowville coming up on Monday and Tuesday. You got Lisbon next week as well as Matthews. What kind of things are you expecting out of your schedule in the next week when you see the teams you match up with?
Um, I'm looking at it as towards it's going to be the middle part of the season. And I've told the team the past couple of years, we won't be playing our best baseball going into tournaments. That's where I'm looking to get to with this week and next week coming up. Yeah, I know I got some non-league games. I'm going to see a good pitcher in Ricky Palumbo, either Monday or Tuesday against Lowville. But the following week, that's a big week for me. I've got 5 league games that week. I've got 2 with Sebring on Monday and Tuesday, and then we got our makeup game with Springfield, who we beat the first game of the season with on Wednesday. Then we got Mineral Ridge Thursday and Friday that same week. So I'm expecting us to get some more consistency in our game right now.
Had a chance to talk with Billy yesterday, and one of the things that we talked about is just the grit of this team. We actually brought up that McDonald's series and how the team got together themselves, and they just weren't satisfied with their performance on Monday, and they got hungry to go back to McDonald on Tuesday and get the win. As a coach, what's it like to have a team that doesn't have to be told that performance wasn't, acceptable? They know it themselves, they coach themselves almost, and they get themselves ready to go back the next day and win.
Yeah, I mean, after we went through the handshakes, they always meet me down by the left field foul line, and me and my assistant coach, we got down there, and my seniors, they're like, Coach, like, we beat ourselves. I didn't even say anything. That's the first thing they said. I said, yeah, I mean, like, you guys understand that, you got to give yourself a shot. And baseball is hard enough. Baseball is already a game of failure. You can't play yourself. You put pressure on the other team, you let them make the mistakes, and then you capitalize. You can't put the mistakes on yourselves. Then try to chase runs against a good pitcher. But I tell you what, the leadership of this team, it's not just the seniors. It's I've got some sophomores, I've got some juniors, I got another sophomore who I think is one of the most athletic kids in the school, named Vinny Fay. He's gonna be a dynamic football player. He's gonna be a great basketball player. He's finding himself a home in the outfield for me this year as a sophomore. These guys, they just understand how to compete. And that's one thing I'm proud of with this program. These guys just they're hungry. They practice wise, when practice is over at 5:15 every day, I've got guys that want to stay around and take extra ground balls, make extra throws from the outfield. They're just never satisfied. And that's what I like about them.
Let's talk a little bit more about Billy. Obviously, he's been a part of this varsity team for 3 years now. Like you said, probably would have been a fourth if it wasn't for that COVID year. What's he been like to coach? What have you seen out of him over the 3 years, his development, his growth, and now obviously his senior year culminating in signing for the next level and being able to go down to Alabama to play at the next level in baseball as a coach and being able to coach him? How much have you seen from that kid over the last 3 years of baseball?
And the maturity level has been every year he's just taken another step. I remember Billy. I mean, he was just when I had him in my freshman year, even his sophomore year, he was just kind of like a scrawny, athletic kid, and he found the weight room. Yeah, he goes. Our school has a program. It's a 6 a.m. lifting, and he goes every morning. And he's just he's a perfectionist. He's stubborn. A lot of times I've gone to the mound, hey, you're getting high in your pitch count. He's always, hey, just give me one more hitter. Give me one more hitter. If I don't get him out, then you can go to the next guy. He's a great kid, and he's such a leader, and he expects a lot out of himself, and he expects a lot of his teammates. You know, he's never one to point a finger or blame something. You know, like at baseball, I mean, it's high school baseball. Errors get made all the time. You know, he has a short memory. You know, he has a short memory with his teammates. You know, he's always the first ones to pick him up. Like, hey, you're fine. You got this. You know, and I'll tell you right now, like with him and Bill, Aaron, and Owen, those three they're so dynamic with each other. You know, like they're the first ones out of the dugout every inning. They're the first ones, you know, out on the pole every day before practice. I mean, they're just great. They're just great teammates. They're great kids. I mean, I'm just very proud of them.
Coach, before we let you go, I do want to give you the chance to also shine a light on your assistants and your support staff and all the people that make this Jackson Milton baseball program what it is. Because I know they don't always get the love. You get the interviews, you get the limelight as a head coach, but you can't do it by yourself. So, who are the people behind you that help make this program what it is?
You know, I'll start with my JV staff. You know, I've got a guy that, you know, he's always there. You know, he's great with the kids. His name's Ryan Ferguson. He actually played baseball at Austin Town. His assistant is actually a kid I coached a couple of years ago named James Harris. You know, he just seems to be following me around everywhere on the baseball field. He coaches in my same travel organization. These guys they're just great. I mean, they're great with the kids. It's awesome, you know. And then I got another volunteer, Sebastian Lay. I'm sure we all remember that name from a couple of years ago. Great left-handed pitcher from here. He's with me too. He coaches my outfielders. You know, I've got Billy's dad and Bill Sloan. He handles all my pitching and you know, helps with the infielders and stuff. He coaches first base for me. You know, the great thing about it is like none of us ever butt heads. You know, like, even with me, when I'm talking about a lineup, hey, what do you think about doing this? What do you think about doing that? I never just do it on my own. I always ask for their input, you know, whether it's a varsity coach or a JV coach, you know, because we all practice together. So like they're all there, and I respect their input, and I hope it, and then they're always honest with me, you know, like it's not just me, it's not just the players. I mean, it's a program, and I've been complimented many times on, you know, the way this program's been going for the past couple of years, and even before that, you know, we just keep getting kids. You know, a lot of teams don't have JV programs around here, you know, and I got an 18-game schedule. It's great.
Coach, we appreciate your time. We love watching your program grow as much as it has over your tenure, and we always love talking to you. This is, I think, the third year we've had you on the show. We can't wait to have you on again. Good luck the next couple of weeks, and we look forward to talking to you again real soon.
All right, thank you.
Matt Ruby, the head coach of the Jackson Milton baseball team. Thank him for his time. Thank Ty Bartell for his time as well, coming on this Friday edition of Running Point. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get to recapping last night's action and previewing the weekend ahead. Be right back on Running Point, brought to you as always by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
21 News delivers the news as it happens, using the latest technology from where it happens.
Live here outside the Mahoney County.
On air, online,
Wednesday afternoon weather update.
Very dangerous.
and on the 21 News social media platforms.
I'm on the road right now.
21 News, the Valley's only locally owned source for trusted news since 1953.
As fine as the eye can see, the finest hardwoods from the finest trees. Made for your home and within your means, Baird Brothers will help fulfill your dreams. Let life and light come shining through in quiet morns. And heavy traffic, too. Find your easy-to-afford fine hardwood floors and doors and more at BairdBrothers.com.
Every customer has a story, and at Greenwood Chevrolet, we are committed to making sure it ends with you in the right vehicle. I get to be part of somebody's adventure, whether it's buying a car for the first time, helping them get approved, or finding the perfect car for their budget. I'm proud that people trust me with their finances. They trust me to take care of them, and they trust me with their story. I'm Tracy, and I'm ready to go the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Welcome back to Running Point on YSNLive.com, brought to you as always by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig with you, and we thank you for tuning in. And we are going to go into the recap of yesterday's action. Let's bring up the scoreboard for you and put it up on the screen. You can find this YSN scoreboard on our website every day at ysnlive.com/scores, live updated after the finals start coming in. Let's bring up that scoreboard and go over the scores of the day for you. Let's start with the game I was at. As always, I went down to Brookfield for what was toped as a very big matchup in the MVAC. It actually was. It wasn't, there wasn't false hype about that. Brookfield and Champion were both undefeated in the MVAC. You looked at them statistically; they were both pretty equal in runs scored, runs allowed. Both pitchers were on fire throughout this season. Both pitchers had an ERA of sub-1. Offenses were lighting it up. Both offenses had the hitters that could really smack the ball over the fence. And it was going to be a really good matchup, but Champion, they weren't into that, right? They didn't want a competitive matchup. They went into Brookfield and they just jumped from the gun up on the Warriors. Gabby Gratishar led off with a home run. They ended up hitting 5 on the day. 2 from Gratishar, 2 from Metters, and then a grand slam from Morgan Davis. It was a power show for Champion. I think they were really motivated to get this win. Talking to Coach Weaver after the game, they remembered how it felt last year to lose to Brookfield at Brookfield, and they came in. They were very, very hungry to make sure that did not happen again, and they did it from the jump. Like I said, first batter up hit a home run. This tone was set. And then the rest of the way, 4 more home runs the rest of the way. 2 of those home runs came in the first inning with Gratishar hitting one, and then Abigail Metters hitting another one, a couple batters down for a 2-run shot. It was a 4-run first, and then the floodgates just opened after that. Pitching-wise, Gratishar was just electric as ever. 15 strikeouts on the day. She needed 8 strikeouts coming into that day for 100 on the season and 100 on her career. Got that pretty easily. You'll look at the rest of the lineup for Champion real quick to go over their stats. It was a monster day for the Flashes. Everyone got a hit. So everyone in the starting lineup got a hit against Brookfield. Final line for Gratishar was 4 for 4 with 6 RBI, 4 runs scored, and a walk. So she was perfect at the plate. Abigail Metters was perfect at the plate, 4 for 4, 2 runs scored, 3 RBI. Then you had Bella Meyer that went 4 for 5. Morgan Davis was 2 for 4 with the 5 RBIs and the grand slam, 1 run scored. Warzela went 2 for 4 with 3 RBI. Olivia Gray had an RBI, 1 for 4 day. Householder 1 for 3. Ziegler 2 for 4. And then a hit from Sylvester, 1 for 4 on the day as well. So everybody in the lineup got a base hit at least in that Champion game. It was just very impressive. For Brookfield, their run came on Abby DeJoy leadoff walk. She was moved over, and then Eric was able to score her. So that run was unearned, and it was just the 1 run of the game. They had a couple of hits here and there. Sophia Hook actually led off the game with a double for Brookfield, and then Katie Logan followed it up with a base hit. So Brookfield was trying to respond after giving up 4. After that, though, Gratishar shut the door on that opportunity, and Brookfield's run came in the 3rd inning when they were already down 11-0. So they'll play again tonight. Obviously, Brookfield wants to regroup. They're a good team. They're not going to let one game spoil their season. They're going to regroup. I expect tonight to be a lot more competitive in Champion. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Champion starts Metters and then, uses Gratishar if needed. And I'm sure Brookfield's going to start Nicholson again. There's no reason not to. I think you just chalk it up to, a bad day trying to locate her pitches. It's not like Champion was hitting really good pitches for home runs. It was just a lot of pitches either down in the count. The Gratishar home run was 2-1, trying to get a little bit too much of the plate, and all of them were pulled. all the hits that Miranda Nicholson gave up, or I should say all the big hits, were pulled to the left side. So Champion was a little bit ahead of them. They were inside a little bit. And so Nicholson's going to have to make those adjustments today and try to work the outside of the plate, try to get this Champion team to have to go the opposite way, take away their pull hitting ability on her ball, and see what they can do, because not a lot of Champion hits came to right field or to left field for the left-handed hitters. So we're going to have to see. I think Nicholson's a really good pitcher. That definitely is going to hurt her ERA a little bit, but definitely a very, very strong team in Brookfield. I expect them to be ultra competitive tonight in Champion. Let's go over some of the other scores from last night. Head over to our Instagram graphics page, because I have terrible vision and would never be able to see that scores page. Let's see. South Range got the win in Myrtle Beach to close out their trip 12-2 over HPCA. You got Canfield. They lost their last game in Myrtle Beach 2-1, the final score there on the softball diamond. Fitch Baseball, they dropped one 15-0 in Myrtle Beach. You had Canfield get walked off on the baseball diamond by Maury, 4-3, the final score there. Ursuline was able to lose to Vistal, who South Range was supposed to play this morning. That game got canceled. Champion once again won 18-1. Jefferson was able to beat Edgewood 11-1 last night in the softball diamond. Camel gets their third win in 4 games, 22-6 over Niles. Melina Williams had an amazing day at the plate. West Branch falls to Carrollton 15-5, the final score there. Western Reserve, another big offensive day for them, 29 runs against Struthers in a 29-8 win over the Wildcats. Louisville softball, they drop a heartbreaker to Uniontown Lake 7-6, final score there. Boardman gets back on to the winning ways. 5-3, they're able to beat Mentor after 2 tough losses to Riverside. We see Columbiana. It was a no-hitter for Mackenzie Gamble. 10-0, they get the win over Springfield on the softball side of things. They'll be back in action tonight against Howland. LeBray will be another winner as they beat Hubbard 6-1 on the baseball field. Heartland Christian Baseball gets the win over Lisbon 17-7. Howland Baseball, their winners over Champion 5-2. Final score there. Niles Baseball gets back on track after losing the last 2 games. They beat United 4-2 to get the win. Crestview Baseball undefeated still. 8-5, they beat Struthers at Scene Park. Mooney Baseball takes it to Columbiana 18-3, the final score there for the Cardinals. Ravenna was able to beat Waterloo Baseball last night 12-5, the final score there. Crestview Softball, they took one on the chin to Rootstown 15-4, final score there. Katie McDonald did it in the circle and at the plate on Thursday as Poland was able to beat Chalker 3-0 to bounce back from their loss to Jefferson on Tuesday. Newton Falls Baseball got the win 5-4 over Warren Harding, a big win for the Tigers trying to find rhythm and momentum in this season. Kirtland beat Pymatuning Valley Baseball 19-0, final score for you there. Cheney was able to beat Sebring last night 10-5, but they had to forfeit that game late, so Sebring is going to get the win in the win column. Cheney, though, gets the win as far as runs are going. But in the official record book, it will say Sebring got that win. Cheney had to forfeit. We go to Sebring softball. They got the win over Cheney 10-9, final score there. Brenna Macbeth, got the no-hitter for Jackson Milton as they beat Warren JFK 20-1, final score there. Macbeth also hit a home run of the day as well as Mia Greco, so a good day for Jackson Milton, bouncing back from 2 really close, really tough losses to McDonald earlier in the week. Pymatuning Valley, they got right back to winning as they won 20-1 over Cardinal on Thursday. That's a softball game, by the way. Girard won last night in Tennessee. Final score there, 17-10. they beat St. Bede. We see Howland get the win last night against Magnificat, 15-1 on the softball diamond. McDonald softball was able to get the win 15-1 over Maplewood. Liberty winning in an absolute offensive show, 19-15 over Badger. A lot of offense in that one. 17-6 East wins over Wellsville on the softball diamond. Salem falls to Marlington 17-6, but 6 runs, the most runs scored on Marlington all season. So Salem trying to take some positivity out of that game. Those are your final scores from last night. A couple of scores came in this morning from Tennessee. Hoban gets the win over St. Bede 4-0. The final score there. Gerard Bats continue to swing well. 30 runs in the last 2 games as they win 13-6 over Manchester in Tennessee. Both teams have one more game tomorrow morning in Pigeon Forge before they head back home. Like I said, South Range is playing right now in Myrtle Beach on the baseball side of things. So when that final comes in, we will get you updated on that. Stay in touch with our social media account for that final score. I'm just going to scroll down this this scoreboard here so you can see it real quick before I put it down. In case you missed any of my shout-outs or scores, or I missed any of the scores. Let's see. I don't think I got Grand Valley Rootstown was unreported. That's one of the scores we're missing. But it looks like we got everything else. A good day of softball and baseball on the network, and another good day in store for us today as it's another warm weather day. We have to end the show a little bit early today, so we're going to get into our preview right now and just go over the games that are happening tonight as you'll pop my face back in. I got to be in Pittsburgh by 4, so I got to get out of here as soon as I preview the night ahead on the network. So here we go for tonight. It's going to be baseball, and we're going to have Campbell and Niles. You know, Brian will have the call there, 5 o'clock first pitch. Columbiana will be at Howland tonight. Noah Ricks making the call. Rob Roberts will be in Louisville, 5 o'clock first pitch against Hoover. We have Springfield going to Scene Park to take on Ursuline at 5 o'clock. Tim Corso on the call there. Matt Morrison heading to Hubbard as they take on Warren Harding. Garrettsville Garfield going to Western Reserve. That'll be played at Eastwood Field. That'll be Matt Marr and Jordan on the call there. 5 o'clock first pitch. Cardinal Mooney at Warren JFK tonight. Eastwood Field. Matt Marr on the call there. That'll also be at 7 o'clock, so a doubleheader from Eastwood. Matt will be there for both those games. Salem at Lisbon has been canceled tonight for baseball, so that will not be on the network. Softball on the network today. We do have St. John's versus Badger. Sam Torres will be on the call there at 4:30. We were supposed to have a couple games from Myrtle Beach, but as we talked about with Ty, those games have been canceled. Here are some games that are going on. We'll go up to baseball real quick. Bristol at LeBray is happening. East Liverpool at Beaver Local, round 2. Fairport Harding goes to Wyndham in baseball. Garfield CLC will go to Waterloo. Lakeside will go to Conneaut. Latonia goes to Jackson Milton, and Southeast goes to West Branch. Gary Leininger will be at that West Branch baseball game, so you can find pictures of the West Branch Warriors baseball team on our Smug Bug later tonight from our ace photographer. Some softball games that are going on. Conneaut will be at Edgewood tonight. Boardman travels to Hubbard. Campbell will be at LeBray. Columbiana and Howland. Crestview will be at Newton Falls. East Liverpool goes to Beaver Local. Fairport Harding will go to Wyndham. Field goes to Louisville. Garfield goes to Liberty. Latonia at Jackson Milton. Niles will be at East. Salem will be at Lisbon on the softball side of things. Sebring and Cheney will meet again for game 2 of their series. This one going to be at the Field of Dreams. Warren Harding will be at Warren JFK. And Woodridge will be at Waterloo tonight for softball. So that's your night slate. That's going to do it for Running Point. Going to end it a little bit early, like I said, for my sake. I have to be in Pittsburgh by 3 o'clock, so going to head out of here a little bit early. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We had Matt Ruby on the show, head coach at Jackson Milton Baseball. Thank you for your time, Coach. And obviously Ty Bartell joining us a little bit for the top of the show from Myrtle Beach. We thank him for his time. We'll be back on Monday. We will have an interview with Addie Craven lined up to play for you guys from West Branch Softball. Can't wait for you guys to hear that on Monday. Have a good weekend, everybody. Enjoy the baseball and softball, and we'll be back on